What's up, everyone? To celebrate Silent Hill's 15th anniversary, we are going to be playing Silent Hill 3 because I played Silent Hill 1 last year. Whoops. Anyway, for this playthrough, we're going to be playing on the PC version of the game, and we're going to be playing on normal combat and hard Riddle difficulty, mostly because I find it really amusing how mind-bogglingly hard certain puzzles are on hard. Shakespeare puzzle. I'm going to be going for the normal ending, and I will explain how the endings work at a later time in the playthrough. So for now, enjoy the opening cutscene.
Where am I?
We're setting the mood with that opening cutscene, and that mood is set to disturbing. You can end this section early by jumping to your death in one of the pitfalls that are strewn around here, but let's try to survive a little bit here in the early section of the game, the earliest section, and explore around. You'll notice that this looks very familiar if you played Silent Hill 1 or if you watched my LP of it. This is Lakeside Amusement Park, an area that you visit at the end of Silent Hill 1. This section is going to be introducing a number of the game's earliest enemies to you, and it's going to serve as a little bit of a tutorial. The most frightening tutorial I've ever experienced. I believe that's Robbie the Rabbit. Not many places you can go in the tutorial, but there are some very disturbing sights you can see. That enemy is a closer, and the dog enemy you saw briefly behind me, there are more closers here, by the way. The dog is called a split head. Closers are the enemies with the very phallic-looking hands. There's a split head behind me. Or double head, I can't remember. I think split head is a name of a boss coming up later on. Ooh, these guys are pendulums. They tend to hover around above you on rails in a lot of areas of the game, and they can really lock you down and do quite a bit of damage. I'm not dead, am I? That didn't seem like enough. Yeah. They can kind of lock you in place in these really narrow areas. But we'll keep exploring the amusement park. Danger zone? Heather's been in the danger zone east of the Pacific Ocean, west of London, England, south of Mars, and north of hell. Oh, that's so perfect. I've had that promo stuck in my head for like a week and a half now. I talked a lot in Silent Hill 1 about how, as a kid, when I first played that game, I was so affected by that image of the gore and the viscera, the corpse strewn across that chain link fence early in the game when you get stabbed by the Grey Children. This ramps that level of terror up so much.
What a nightmare. Dad, it's me. Yeah. Sorry I didn't call sooner. Yeah, I guess I was. Anyway, I'm coming home now. Oh, I didn't get that thing you asked me to. Okay. Okay, I will. I love you too, Dad.
Heather, I need to speak with you. My name is Douglas Cartland. I'm a detective.
A detective? Really? Well, nice talking to you.
Hold on. There's someone that wants to meet you. Just let me have an hour. No, half an hour of your time.
My daddy always told me not to talk to strangers.
This is very important. It's about your birth.
I'm not interested. Are you still following me? Do I have to scream?
Sorry. I'll wait here.
And that was our first good look at our protagonist for the game, Heather, and what she's going to be like outside of her nightmare. She is a lot more interesting right off the bat than James or Harry in the previous game. She's kind of brash and abrasive. Why does my head hurt so much when I try to remember where I've seen this mark before? I'm gonna try to do my best to look at every save. I'm not gonna save all that frequently, especially not at the designated save points because the PC version has quick saves. But because you get a lot of the story told through Heather's vague recollections when she stares at a save point. And we'll talk about the symbolism of that later on. So Heather here starts out with a house key, Daisy Villa Apartment 102. I think that comes in handy later on. This is a birthday present from her dad, this pendant, and if we examine it, there is a jewel inside, like a little red tablet. That, I don't remember if the description on the house key, if where she lives is important later on. I can't remember off the top of my head. The pendant, well, you'll see how important that is. So since we could not exit the bathroom through the front door, because our good friend Douglas Cartland was waiting for us, we instead sneak out the back window. And that's the door we're meant to turn in to get into the mall. I just wanted to see Heather's comment about the van. Maybe I should walk around. Never mind. Yeah. How did that van get there anyway? One of the many unsolved mysteries of Silent Hill. Okay, we are in our first major area of the game. Although we will be revisiting the nightmarish Lakeside Amusement Park later on, what we got in the beginning was just kind of a glimpse of things to come. Heather here is named after her voice actress, Heather Morris, who also did the motion capture for the character, and it was also her first video game role.
hell is this thing?
So, upon entering this room, you are automatically given your first ranged weapon, the standard Silent Hill handgun. So we now have our puny little knife, which I almost guarantee I won't be using. I might try to show that off a little bit at some point. But for the most part, the gun is going to be the way to go until we get a better melee weapon. We have a gun and a knife now. And with the handgun bullets taken care of in that room, we got 2 boxes of them. We can now exit out here, where we will find the map for the mall. And this area looks gigantic, and it looks quite complex, filled with rooms. But if you think even half of those are accessible, you have not been playing survival horror very long. Almost every one of those is jammed. Many of them are locked. Very few of them are going to be accessible straight off the bat. And the mall itself is actually not that large of an area. We should be able to clean the normal version of it up. Mostly this episode. Might leave a special little puzzle at the end for the next episode. For now, though, we have a split head in here, or a double head. Let's call him a dog. Skinless dog from Silent Hill 1. Gnawing away on some piece of meat, so just stomp him again for good measure and see what he was nibbling on. He was nibbling on a piece of beef jerky. Beef jerky is not necessarily important, but it's a recurring item in the game that if you're having trouble getting past enemies without taking tons of damage or without having to engage them often, the beef jerky actually comes in handy because it will attract the attention of monsters, so you can bait them in one direction and use that to run past them. So this is the second storeroom after the one we found the beef jerky in. We have a key under a pallet. Something's fallen between the table and the floor. I think it might be a key. My arms were a little longer. I might be able to reach it. There's a huge pile of cardboard boxes on the table, full of books. Too much of a pain to lift something that heavy. So, this isn't much of a puzzle. Mostly we're going to be just off adventuring, looking for something that we can use to grab the key. Oh, can't forget the save point. Remember reading about it in a book of black magic? Does it seem so familiar because it's from the altar? What are you thinking, Heather? What altar could that be referring to? Oh, I love that I get to just play completely coy for this whole thing. Okay, so now that we are back out in this hallway... Hey, a numbody. That's our first look at the numbody enemy. They are pretty much going to be standard enemies for the most part. Not terribly threatening. They can do quite a bit of damage if you're being reckless in melee range. I think the dog enemies, the double heads, are a lot more intimidating in melee range. And that was not the direction I wanted to go. I want to exit out into the mall proper, where all the stores are. So we'll take a quick glance around here. There's a closer on the other end of the hallway. But luckily, we're going into the bakery to find a pair of tongs. And those tongs, yes, they will be used to grab the key. So now we can just exit out. Won't have to deal with the closer just yet. Man, that music always gets me. Yamok is so good. Oop. Yeah, the numbodies take quite a while to wind their swings up. Makes it very easy to run past them, plus they're tiny. So it's no problem avoiding them. Okay, now we will go ahead and... Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Wanted to go into my inventory. So we'll go into the inventory, reload that, and supplies, items. And we'll use the tongs to grab the key. That is not a very helpful description. It's just a key taken with tongs. Key was dropped in the storeroom. I used the tongs to get it. Doesn't really tell us much about where we're meant to use it, so let's examine it. There's a tag on the key that says, My Bestsellers. Sounds like we're headed to the bookstore for the game's first proper puzzle. And on hard, the hardest puzzle in the game, maybe in the whole series. It's one of the hardest puzzles I've ever dealt with in a game, to be honest. The infamous Shakespeare Riddle. But we will save that for next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.